Good Monday Matters. I hope you have a wonderful day today. I hope you enjoyed an incredible Easter Sunday yesterday. It was beautiful in Middle Tennessee, and all that we had hoped for and anticipated about Easter Sunday came true. It was a busy week leading up to Easter. We had a special Wednesday night service at our church, a Seder meal on Thursday, a Good Friday midday service, and then services Saturday night and 2 on Sunday. And because I'm now a part of that church staff, I was involved in all of that and responsible for some of it. So it's been a busy week. Sometimes in this post-resurrection time, we find ourselves, we've run out of adrenaline, our endorphins have dried up, and we find ourselves in kind of this dull, listless, perhaps even hopeless kind of state. And we wonder how that happened. It seems to be a pretty common occurrence, but it happens. Hope fades, particularly after some wonderful event like an Easter Sunday. I was thinking about some of the stories where hope faded post-resurrection. On the day of Easter, the women went to the tomb. And when the stone was rolled away, instead of remembering that Jesus said he would be raised from the dead, they said, "Where have you taken him?" There was a moment of hopelessness. Shortly after that, Jesus confronted the disciples and talked to them for a while. And then we don't know exactly what happened, but Peter says, "I'm done. I'm going fishing." It's kind of the sense of hopelessness. And Jesus has to meet him again on the seashore and say, "Peter, do you love me?" There was Thomas saying, "Unless I put my hands in the holes in his hands, my fingers in the holes in his hand, and my hand in his side, I'll not believe." There are these examples of hope fading. And all of us have those examples of God having done something great and good in our lives. And then all of a sudden there is a hopelessness. And we wonder where that came from and how it came to be. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about what real hope is and how we maintain it. First, there are different levels of hope, probably different definitions of hope. There is what I've called the desperate wish for an unexpected result. When I was in school, I hoped I would do well on my math test. Never studied and never put in the work. I just hoped. There was just this desperate wish. Maybe somehow a genie will strike me on the head in the middle of the night and I'll be math smart when I wake up tomorrow. That is a hope, but it's not the kind of hope that we are talking about or that we can depend on. And then there's hope that is kind of the wondering for the improbable consequence. I hope this is going to turn out okay. I hope my marriage is going to be good. This is the person I've chosen. I don't know for sure. I'm kind of giving it my best shot and see what happens. That is a hope, but it's not, again, the hope that we can rely on, that we can depend on. The hope that I think we are called to as believers is a confident anticipation in a positive outcome. I am sure. I know that my Redeemer liveth, and I am sure that I can trust him. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, the confidence of things hoped for. There's a kind of a hope that is not just, I wonder if this is going to happen, and boy, this would be good, but I know that I know that I know, and I place my hope in that. I trust in that. That's the kind of hope that we are called to. It's the kind of hope that Paul has in mind when he says, if we have hope in this world, we're of all men most miserable. And then he says again in Romans 5, and hope does not disappoint us. There's a hope that we have as believers that is not a cross your fingers and maybe everything will work out, but it's a hope that I stand on, that I rely on. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly trust in Jesus' name. On Christ, the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. That's the kind of hope that we as believers can hold on to, we should hold on to, And even in those times where, because we're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, hope has seemed to fade, that's the hope that we go back to, and we recognize that God is still in control and that we are going to be okay. So, with that in mind, I want to share with you 4 thoughts about maintaining that hope. What happens when that hope begins to fade? How do we restore it? How do we get it back? How do we maintain it? Well, here's the first thing, probably the easiest, most obvious. We read the promises. We read the promises. We stay in the Word of God. When Doris and I were hoping that our marriage was going to be restored. I wasn't sure, but I was hoping that it was. I lived in the promises of God. I lived in the Psalms. I lived in those things. I know the plans I have for you, plans to bless you and prosper you, to give you hope and a future. Those kinds of, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Read the promises of God over and over and over again. When your hope begins to fade, when you're having a hard time believing what you know you should believe, read the promises over and over and over again. Read the promises of God. Number two would be rehearse the blessings. Make a list. Just go back and look. What has God done for you? How many times has God answered this prayer? Doris and I, from time to time, will do a blessing jar. We just put a jar on the kitchen table, and every time God does something good, we'll drop it in that jar, and then at the end of the month, we'll just pull it out and read all those blessings. Make a list. Just put a little, if you have to, put a card in your pocket where you just write down all the blessings that God does for you. And then rehearse those over and over and over again. I remember God blessed me. Oh, I remember God did this. Man, I'm feeling hopeless today. Wait a minute. I know God answered this prayer. So read the promises, rehearse the blessings. Number 3, recite your faith over and over again. Recite the things that you believe. In the more evangelical church, we have gotten away from some of those great iconic moments of reciting our faith. The Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed, saying the Lord's Prayer, reciting the 23rd Psalm. Those things that say, this is who we are and this is what we believe. Recite those things over and over and over again. That's what music is. That's what songs are. Songs are reciting the faith. And so find those ways to say out loud, time and time again, this is what I believe. This is who I hold on to. This is where my hope lies. Rehearse the promise. Read the promises. Rehearse the blessings. Recite your faith. And then finally this, remember the source. When you really begin to struggle, when you have a hard time hoping, just remember, it's not about you. You're not in charge anyway. God's in charge. Remember that. Remember the source. Yesterday, we had our family get together and we did Easter egg hunt. Caleb and not Amos, but Caleb, mainly Caleb, did Easter egg hunt. And Caleb said, Poppy, see, I want you to help me hunt for Easter eggs because Caleb knows Poppy C will cheat for him. Poppy C will look and see where they hit him, and then he'll make sure he gets all the eggs. Caleb knows that Poppy C is he can trust Poppy C. Poppy's a good source. Well, in the same way, I know that he's not cheating on my behalf. Maybe this isn't a great illustration, but you understand what I'm saying. There is a source that we are dependent on, and it's not us. And that's why I read his promises, and that's why I remember his blessings, and that's why I recite the faith, because he is the source of my hope. I am trusting in him. I know in whom I have believed. In Isaiah chapter 40, in verse 31, Isaiah wrote this, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Those who wait on the Lord, our hope is in him. Not a cross my fingers, I hope this works out. Not a desperate, well, I know I don't deserve it, but maybe something good will happen. but a confidence, a faith, a trust in who he is and what he stands for. Every day I post a little something that reminds you of what we talked about that week, and I do it on Facebook, Instagram. You can go on and look for that. Here's what I'm going to post today and what I want to end with. Let your hopes, not your hurts, shape your future. We don't go back and rehearse all the times that we've messed up or that things didn't work out or that we were wounded. We go back and hold to our hope. We rehearse our hope. We recite our hope. We believe our hope. And that's what shapes our future. So in this post-resurrection week, when we've been busy and tired and now we have to go back to work and maybe hope begins to drain, or maybe you're in a situation in life where you've just held on for a long time and it's beginning to feel hopeless. Remember who you hope in. Read his promises, recite his faith, your faith in him, and rehearse the blessings of the things that he has done for you. Well, thanks for being a part of Monday Matters. Every Monday, tune in and hear something that makes your life hopefully happier, healthier, and happier. It's been a long day, a little bit healthier. Thanks for being a part of this. God bless you, and keep hoping.